Hi guys, it's Kayla back at you again. I'm working on these intros. By the way, I'm Kayla. This is Reinvented. It's obviously I'm trying different stuff for season two. Sorry. Yeah. YouTube decided to take down my video, and Spotify has been saying it's having problems processing. So if you're not seeing this on Spotify, I'm sorry. I would really recommend going to YouTube. And I do have all of those linked in my social medias. And Reinvented does have a YouTube or a Instagram page now, if no one's noticed. And I've been kind of posting on there. Let me give you guys the app, but I believe it's the same as it is on YouTube. Reinvented 2. So, yeah. Yep. Reinvented 2. Or Reinvented Podcast 2. Also, Fun Kicks has a Instagram account as well. If you guys are interested in checking that out as well. So, yeah. Anyway, I was supposed to have a guest today, but they didn't show. So if it shows up while we're in the middle of this, cool. If not, that's also cool. But I did kind of have some exciting announcements that I wanted to tell you guys first, as I am talking hella fast. But for starters, I am currently working on the episode 2 of the little TV show I'm making. Obviously, that is so far from done, but the whole thing. But I'm excited for it, so I'm starting to kind of work on the screenplay for that, which is a lot harder than it looks. I thought, oh, episode 1 was hard. Episode's 2 is harder. It's so hard to think of the details sometimes. Also, I am relaunching my merch site. I'm not really relaunching it. I kind of redid it, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. That should be up hopefully soon. I'm also I'm gonna do some social media for it, so I'm really excited. Really, really excited for that. I was thinking of the other thing. Oh yeah. So I decided since I have my soccer season coming to an end. I'm still not playing. I don't have a team to play for. Which, happens in adult recreational soccer if you're familiar with that sometimes. You just kind of find people. Which, that, at least from my experience, that's what I know. So, I'm kind of changing some things up. Hopefully, I can get those, things straightened out. But I have kind of decided since, for one, it's Women's World Cup season. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's a Women's World Cup season. And there's a lot of soccer going on, and there's a lot of things, I kind of want to take into, looking at professional performances and, performances of those games in general. I have decided to relaunch Goal Rush. That won't be happening for a few weeks. But I will definitely also put that, I will work on the social media stuff for that when we get there. But I'm really excited, and I hope you guys I can't wait to show you guys that. Yeah, other than that, there's not much really new going on. I've been doing open mics. I had 101-degree fever. So this week has been crazy. It's been crazy shit. So yeah. And look at this cute water bottle. Don't know if I ever showed you guys this, but look how cute this is. Wait, I gotta show you guys something. Look, it expands. Okay. I know that's no one cares, but it's cute. People love it, so it's all good to me. But today, since this is kind of a mental health type of podcast, I decided, since my guest didn't show up, and I do have guests also booked, so for recording dates, which I'm so excited for. So great. So I will have guests some weeks, and some weeks I won't, because again, we're running into the same problem where they're not showing up, or something happens, or it's not being communicated well, something happens. So here we are again, and I kind of want to give you guys a good podcast episode that isn't soccer, and that YouTube won't be like, oh, nope, copyright. Oh, wait, wasn't copyrighted, but it's my opinion. It's in the past now, so it's okay. So we're going to look at mental health and academic achievement. So I feel like for me, like, and I found like this like PDF too, but like when I was in school, for starters, I will say like I was always told I was like I was told by many different people that like I was like, oh, you're a failure because you have an F. Yeah. I was like, oh, thanks. Like you're never gonna go anywhere in life. And mind you, guys, this was when I was like in sixth grade, and I don't know about other places, but middle school, your grades don't count towards your diploma. So yeah, don't worry. I turned it around when I was like, seventh and eighth grade, but still, that's like I was like 12 years, like 11, 12 years old when people would tell me that, and I'm like, okay, cool, awesome, thank you guys so much. But yeah, I didn't realize like how damaging that was when I was a child. Like I thought, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna graduate high school. I'm gonna be in the homeless. Literally, like this is some of like the thoughts I'd had when I was 12. I was like, oh great, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be lonely. Like, and again, I was 12, so it's not like I was like familiar and like I asked a homeless person how they felt. I'm saying like this is literally stuff I thought, and like I remember. Well, for one, I had a teacher like in middle school tell me like I told him this. He's like when you just like you don't turn in your work. He's like you just don't do anything. He's like I see you doing the work. He said it's just like some assignments you don't turn in, some other stuff like that. And I told him I was like, well, people around me just tell me like if I don't, I'm gonna be homeless. And he kind of looked at me and he's like that's not normal. He's like no one in your life should tell you that at all. I'm like, mind you, I was 12. It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, mental health. I know exactly what that is. I was like, yeah, no, I didn't. And I remember him like telling me that, like, to be honest, when I was 12, I didn't see myself where I am now. I didn't like know what a podcast was. And honestly, I love freaking making podcasts. It's something like when I became an adult, I was like, I wanted to do a podcast. So yeah, that's why I'm loving this. And then even I remember like even in high school, like I genuinely I don't think if I would have transferred high schools, I don't think I would have graduated. Like, and I still stand true to that today because for one, I always say my first high school was a bunch of fake rich kids, and it like not everyone, but like the school I went to is out in the middle of nowhere, so it was like you had a bunch of the country kids who obviously their parents owned like land. And I definitely was not from the country. I like didn't grow up like that, so like I didn't see it like them, but I was like constantly bullied for it, and I'm like, okay, thank you. Uh, like thank you, friends. Uh, but yeah, I don't think genuinely like if I wouldn't have transferred high schools, I genuinely like don't think I would have graduated. Like, and even the school had like different requirements than the other high schools, which I was talking to my like I remember at the high school I graduated from, and he was telling me he's like, yeah, that's not normal. Like, what? He's like, what high school does that? I'm like, okay, so that's not normal. Like, and it would shock me so much that people are like, that's not normal. That shouldn't happen. Like, I mean, and a lot of it doesn't also boil down to school. There are other things that boils down to, but honestly, like I honestly like saw like a lot of like, oh, this is what you should be doing. It's like, but that doesn't feel like me. But yeah. let's see, like 4 pages of the thing, and I don't want to go down. Hang on. There it goes. So it said, so like this is from, I'm guessing a school. So yeah, like all educators and especially school leaders take pride in knowing the strengths and needs of young people they serve. So you should also kind of know like what someone needs. Because I also like, I will say I fought both of my high schools, like the one I transferred from and the one I graduated from, for like my work sample. And mind you, this was before COVID. This is before COVID shut everything down. This is probably like 2 weeks before COVID shut everything down. So yeah, which sucked because I only got like 2 weeks of early release from school. So it kind of sucked, but it's okay. I like fought them so hard for my work samples, and I said no. I passed them at my first high school. I'm like, and they're like, well, this doesn't show you did. I said, but and I got a transcript from my first high school that said I passed, and I said, look, that says I passed. So I'm like, you need to contact them. And they did. They did contact them. That's what they did. And I said, because this shows I passed. And I even emailed my first high school. And I said, hey, is there any way, like, maybe there was, like, a mix-up in the transfer? And literally what the principal told me was, no, there's no way there could have been a mix-up. He's like, well, you probably just didn't pass them. So it turns out either it was a mix-up, but what my high school thought was they just didn't send it. They're like, that's kind of weird. Like, they're like, they just didn't send it. So he's like, I don't know. But I was then on track to graduate. And then COVID was like, oh, you would have graduated anyway. So that's how I graduated in April of 2020, by the way, guys. All right, let's see. What is the prevalence of mental illness among young people? So it says approximately 1 in 6 school-age youth experience impairments in life functioning due to mental illness. And the number of young people experiencing mental illness increases as young people grow older. And this is where I also feel like a lot of adults don't get either. It's like, I understand people are like, well, you're a teenager, like you're gonna start having like feelings, and you don't know what these feelings are, which is true. But when you have someone who's like, I don't feel like myself, I don't know what to do about it, or even like bullying too, they're like this becomes overwhelming to them, and you tell them like, oh well, you're just gonna have to figure it out. It's like, but it like take it as like bullying. Like if you have someone who's being bullied and they don't know how to react, and they don't know how to use their feelings per se. So you expect them, well, we taught them how to take care of like to defend themselves from bullying. It's like, did you? Because you told them, oh, figure it out. It's like, okay, I don't know how to use my feelings. And then, something bad happens. And they're like, well, we told them. It's like, did you? Did you really? Like, that's what makes sense. Like, it's like, because people always use it as oh, well, that's not what God wanted. I mean, if it's, and how I like to think of it is if and this is not anything against any religious person at all, by any means, guys, I promise. It's how I think of it, and I don't genuinely think of like religion in like the common sense, like when it comes to like Christianity. I think of it as this: if there is like a God out there or anything like that, I mean, at the end of the day, like they know what path they want you to take, regardless of whatever you're doing. Like no matter what, they're still gonna love you. I'm like, and even like people are like, well, yeah, they're still gonna love you, but you gotta like, say sorry for your sins or like da da da. I'm like, okay, everyone makes mistakes. We're not perfect. I mean, not everyone knows robbing banks and stuff, but like, I'm like, if you die, you die. I'm like, it's something as if like if honestly if oh they're going to like if you're gonna tell me oh they're going to hell because of what they did, it's like, well, okay, so you're not gonna solve the problem. You okay, like they're like, well, think about everyone else. Sometimes, again, if you don't know how to like if a young person is like, I don't know how to feel, are you do you think they're really thinking about how everyone else feels? If they don't know how they feel? So yeah, I realize I went on a little tangent with that. All right, let's see. It says in an average school of 600 students, approximately 100 students are coping with a mental illness. Which, yes, and I actually believe that's true. Like, a lot of people don't just like, you don't just walk up to someone, oh yeah, what mental illnesses do you have? That doesn't happen. So mental illness is associated with school absences, causing the loss of crucial or critical school funding sources. And also, I will say, like, because I know, like, back in, I think high school they did. I don't know if he watches this or not, but I do remember like track the district would only give them a certain amount of money. I don't remember how much it was, but I know it wasn't a lot. Um, like I do remember like fundraising stuff. I wasn't very good at it because like I knew no one. But so by the way, if you see this, I'm sorry. My fundraising was like horrible. But yeah, I do remember they didn't get a shitload of money. Like I don't know if that's changed now. But like, districts like and even the state, they don't if the school's not performing well to their standards, they're not getting a whole lot of money. Um, so yeah. Then it also says having a mental illness is associated. I don't know why I'm like mumbling here. Having a mental illness is associated with being pushed out of school through suspension, expulsion, and credit deficiency. Yeah, well, and sometimes I also will say, um, like if you are at home and you got people in your life who are like, well, my grades, and it's like always saying, well, oh yeah, you do this, you're like gonna be a failure. It's like, yeah, and then they believe that. So yeah, let's see. I'm trying to like wrap this up here. It says, how can we detect mental illnesses in school? Coping with mental illness concerns negatively impacts young people's ability to meet the many demands of school, including cognitive demands for learning, social and emotional demands for making friends and behaving according to school rules, norms and expectations, and physical demands for being active throughout the school day. Despite or described below are many of the ways that mental health concerns impact young people at school. Okay, yeah, so learning and academic achievement, coping with the amount of mental illness through the development transition of childhood and adolescence can interfere with the cognitive process required for classroom learning. Over time, these cognitive processes can affect academic achievement. That was a mouthful. Woo. Yeah, and also like again, it can affect it because sometimes if you're like, well, I feel like a failure, I mean, you're gonna act upon it in like the sense. I feel like I probably could word that a lot better, but so the amount of young people experiencing mental health concerns may interfere with learning and making friends at school. That is definitely true because I remember when I transferred, it took me probably about a good year to make the two friends that I had. I don't know if they watched this. Hi guys. It took me probably what I mean, we started talking a few months, but like it took me a good year to be friends with them. So, yeah. I mean, like not my project moment, but like I also only went for like 3 classes a day, so So yeah, school completion. Over time, as young people experience the progression of untreated or undertreated mental health concerns, barriers to school completion become more difficult to surmount. Yeah, I will definitely say before I transferred, I was, like I said, I don't think I would. If I would have stayed, I do not think I would have graduated. I am really glad that I made the decision to tell my parents I want to transfer when we move to whatever school that is. So the transition from adolescence to young adulthood requires social skills and executive functioning skills that can be reduced or impaired when young people are coping with mental health concerns. Yes. Oh yeah. I definitely I'm still not great with my social skills, guys. But I'm working on it. But I definitely think when I graduated, I did not have the social skills that I needed at all. And also, I will say some other I don't know, just kind of my mentality was always of course I knew what I wanted career wise, but at the time I was I didn't think I could do things on my own. If that makes any sense. But I am going to kind of wrap that up here. I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Reinvented and stay tuned for next week. Peace.